we mentioned that teams aren't trying to take apart the Chiefs. If anything, you've got the Bills helping them out by trading down so the Chiefs can go get Xavier Worthy, the fastest guy ever at the scouting combine. Here is Andy Reid, coach of the Chiefs, on potential comparisons of their first-round pick to their former star receiver, Tyreek Hill.
You know, he's not a big kid, or at least weight-wise. He's got good height. He's just not very heavy. But I think you'll see this toughness that he's got, which jumped out at me. That wasn't necessarily the comparison as much as it was him being a good football player that was a good wide receiver. I mean, you know, now you add in there the return ability. I've had some guys like that, Tyreek and DeSean Jackson, probably body typed a little bit more like DeSean. Yeah.
5'10", 185 was Hill. Jackson was 5'10", 169. And DeSean Jackson, one of the reasons he was so spectacular as a player, he looked like a kid out there.
Right.
Now, Tyreek Hill's not big, but he doesn't look little.
He's as rocked up and as densely thick as you, like one of those guys. You see it and go, damn! If I tried to stick a knife into his shoulder, I don't think the knife's going to go in. It's going to.
The knife would break.
Yeah, it's going to bend.
May your knife chip and shatter.
Right.
That's what would happen.
He is. He's jacked. He's stout as could be. Right. Just to put it in perspective for everybody, Xavier Worthy's an inch taller than Tyreek Hill, and he's 20 pounds lighter, right? So that just tells you right there that there's a different, Tyreek Hill's built like a running back almost. That's what's so rare about him. He's got a power and explosiveness about him that's rare to see at that wide receiver position. But, man, Xavier Worthy, he can run just like him straight away. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, he's a little different, maybe not quite as physical, but what you heard with Andy Reid, and I think what everybody liked about Xavier Worthy, is usually when you see guys like that, you just go, are they tough? Are they going to be physical, right? Do they turn down, I could have put my shoulder down to get the first down, but I just went down because I'm a little small and I don't want to take that hit. Xavier Worthy, you will see none of that. He is fearless with the ball in his hands. Nobody told him he's 165 pounds, right? He can be knocked around a little bit with bump and run, and he's got to get better at stuff like that. But he's fast as hell, quick as hell. He'll learn the techniques to deal with that. But I think that's what intrigued everybody in football, Mike, that it wasn't just a speed guy. He looked like a guy that you go, wait, we could throw a screen to him, and he might be able to, make some people miss with his speed, but then he can, lower his shoulder and break an arm tackle and keep going a little bit that way. And I think that's what teams really kind of got people sold on Xavier Worthy.
5'11", 165, long arms, long legs. But
right.
You mentioned the bump and run. I mean, look, the first thing I thought of as you were saying those things, Tyreek Hill getting manhandled by L'Jarius Sneed in the playoffs, enough to get him called out by Mike McDaniel.
Yeah,
and
right.
When you're Tyreek Hill and you're getting thrown around, I mean, look, I remember Desmond Howard, Heisman Trophy winner, top 5 pick of Washington, came to the NFL, never did anything because they got up in his face.
Yeah.
He couldn't get off the line of scrimmage.
Right.
That's the challenge.
Right.
I'm fast and I can catch. Well, okay, but first you got to get by that guy that is right there, ready to redirect you and or throw you headfirst into the ground. If that's what it takes to keep you from getting by him, good luck. And we see guys either develop the skill and ability to get past those guys, and sometimes you got to hit them back as hard as they're hitting you. Sometimes you just have to find a way to slip around it, but that's going to be the challenge for a guy who's 5'11", 165.
Right.
And, how much weight will they put on him? We'll see. But, DeSean Jackson was able to get open. Tyreek Hill able to get open.
Right. Devontae Smith, there was the issue of him, right, a few years ago. Now he's getting $23 million a year, and, he's definitely one of the best receivers in football. So it can be done. And like we've talked about, the work, the things you learn, how to get off bump, the hand fighting, the footwork, all that'll improve, right? But I think this is it's an intriguing draft pick, for the Kansas City Chiefs. It really is. It makes me think about the vision of their offense right now. And it makes me go back into last year where I go, wait, I think Kansas City might go into this, for lack of a better way to say this, the Oregon offense, okay? And what I mean by that is, they got him right now, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, who was Xavier Worthy 6 years ago when he came out of Oklahoma. It was the same kind of guy. Like, whoa, he's really fast. He's a little small and skinny, but damn, he's fast. And he went in the first round of the Baltimore Ravens because of that. But this is in the league right now where bigger receivers are in vogue. They're going the smaller jitterbug speed guy with Hollywood Brown, right? Xavier Worthy, Kadarius Toney, who I still think is going to be in the mix here. I don't think they're just going to totally give up on him. And we know they got Rashee Rice, but hear me out with what I think, Mike. We saw last year, right? The Chiefs became the best screen team in football. Mahomes, Rodgers, they're the best screen throwers in football. They can get the ball out of their hands so quick and so accurately and still throw it with such pace and power that they are dangerous in the screen game. And the Chiefs are great at it. And it makes me think that they're going to kind of do this approach like, hey, Pacheco up the middle. Oh, there's a few too many guys in there. Hey, get it out here to Hollywood Brown or Xavier Worthy or Toney. Let them move. Oh, you're starting to creep up a little bit. Oh, boom, there goes Xavier Worthy over the top for a 70-yard bomb. It seems like they're kind of going to play it this way. They're almost going to go a little bit more, for lack of a better way, college-y offense here. And I'm intrigued to see what it's going to look like there in Kansas City.
Well, and the key is going to be it's another year for Patrick Mahomes with the memory banks, with the experiences, the place he's trying to get to where Tom Brady was, where usually it's in your 30s, where you have that intersection of your remaining physical abilities and you've seen it all, and you can react and adapt and adjust to what's at the line of scrimmage, what the defense is showing you, what you think you can pivot to make it work, and he's getting there. Because there's the decisions you make before the snap, the decisions you make after the snap based upon how the 11 men on defense are allocated to try to stop you. And you mentioned Rice. Look, if I'm the Chiefs, I don't expect him to be available week 1.
Yeah.
And we've said this before.
Right.
He's facing 8 felonies. He's either going to resolve that and be suspended by the league, or he's going to not resolve it and be put on the commissioner exempt list. I can't imagine 8 felony charges and not landing on the commissioner exempt list. Now, it's not a domestic violence situation, which usually is your quickest ticket to the commissioner exempt list, and for good reason, but it's still 8 felonies, and there could be more. They still haven't charged him for leaving the scene of an accident with injuries, which is the most obvious thing that he did. That's the one thing that is undeniable. If he admits to driving the car, he left. He left. And that feels like it's coming as well. So whoever they have, and you're right about Toney, they haven't given up on Toney yet. They have him at a very low salary for this year.
Right.
They want to see if it settles down and if he finally learns. They don't want him to learn his lesson with another team.
Right.
Because they know what a weapon he can be. They talk all the time. He's one of the most talented players on the team. Most talented player on the team. Why is he playing 20% of the snaps? Well, there's other reasons why he's not. But if they could ever get him to fully focus on football and getting the most out of his talents, he could be a special player, and they're not ready to give up on that, obviously, although I thought they were. I thought they'd had enough.
Hey, we've seen moments. You know, they traded a third-round pick on him for him, right? So they're not going to give up too easily. I think that's the big thing. And I think, like, to your point, they see the talent. They do that. Everybody sees the talent, right? We're with Jason Garrett, who was with the New York Giants when they drafted Kadarius Toney. I mean, was one of the first things he said. He's as talented as a guy as you're ever going to see in your life, right? He was one of those guys. He goes, he could throw the ball 85 yards in the air, right? He's one of those freaky type of athletes. But, yeah, it's getting him to be whatever. I don't even know the full story. Professional, on his P's and Q's, dotting his I's, crossing his T's, whatever.
It's not there.
Right. Because we've had moments, we saw some games, right, with the Giants where he went off. I mean, 180 yards, 200 yards receiving. Of course, the Super Bowl against the Eagles. We know it's there. It's just, I think you're right. The way you're saying it is exactly the right to say it. Totally committed to football.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.